how to track symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Again, we're going to have an entire video on this, but I wanted to say I think the easiest and most straightforward thing to do is to use the PRO-PD scale. In research studies, we use a couple other scales. One's called the Hoehn-Yahr. It goes from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. It only goes up to 5. It changes once every 8 years. It's, not very useful for our patients and research studies because it takes so long to change, and you don't really can't use it to see improvement, things like that. The Unified Parkinson's Disease Rating Scale, that's that one that your neurologist gave you in the office to see how well your body functions, is actually useful if your primary target are the motor symptoms. It doesn't even ask about things like constipation. And the problem is the UPDRS is what we call it. That is the outcome measure that we almost always use in clinical trials. And it is good for looking to see if a medicine improves motor symptoms, but it's not that great for non-motor symptoms. The other problem with the UPDRS is that it fluctuates tremendously over the course of the day. I mean, you can have really severe scores in the morning when you wake up before you take your medications, or in between medications if your medications wear off. You can pop a pill before you go into your neurologist's office and look like you're doing fabulous. And so the problem with that scale is the disease fluctuates quite a bit over the course of the day, and the evaluator only sees you for these 5 minutes when they're doing the exam, and that's the score that you get. And that scale also doesn't do a very good job capturing non-motor symptoms. And it doesn't necessarily correlate with the patient's experience or quality of life. So for what we did for our research purposes at the university where I work is we built a rating scale that was called the Patient Reported Outcomes in Parkinson's Disease. It was a patient-centered scale. And you can go to propd.org, get your scale, but what score. And what you have is 33 different symptoms of Parkinson's disease. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out, and you just see these slider bars. And if you don't have the symptom, you slide to the left. If you have the symptom and it's severe, you slide the bar to the right. And you just kind of guess about, on average over the last week, how severe has your tremor been? On average over the last week, how severe has your constipation been? And so you can kind of give yourself a score and see how you compare to other people, and that's what I want to use to track over time. That's how you're going to know if you're doing well, is that score has to stay stable. The woman who runs my office, when new patients come to our clinic, she tells people that if their scores aren't lower next year than they are today, that I should be fired as their physician. That's the kind of care I like. I want to see your score come down.